If I see something I like,
Naughty cowgirl Rita Crundwell
I make it mine.
loves to play dirty. And when it comes to horses,
She built what can only be called a horse empire.
she dominates.
People thought, I can't compete against her.
But there's a dark secret to her success.
I understand you want to open up another account for the city today?
She was taking these millions of dollars to fund her dream.
And the wicked operation
Dispatch.
is everyone's nightmare. One of the world's largest and most competitive horse shows, the All-American Quarter Horse Congress, is in full swing. But the real star is just arriving.
You knew when Rita made the entrance, people knew, here she comes. This was the rock star of the circuit with $7,000 shirts and diamonds.
She had like an entourage of people with her when she would go to these shows.
It's quite impressive. I've never seen anyone else do anything like that. I just thought, boy, she's really got it going on.
Rita, you look amazing.
Thank you. How are you?
Great.
How are you, Gloria?
Can't wait to see what horses you have for us this year.
All right, I'll catch you later.
It was like she was the queen of the show.
And this queen is only here to do one thing: win.
She had more world champions than any other breeder in this industry. I think people thought, gosh, I can't compete against her. And really, it was pretty difficult to compete against her.
First place goes to Rita Crundwell and her horse, Make Money.
It was very important for her to win.
And Rita is willing to win, no matter what the cost. Rita is raised in Dixon, Illinois, a small blue-collar town known for being the boyhood home of Ronald Reagan. She spends her youth in the cow patty fields of a modest farm family.
I was younger, I often wondered where I'd be right now.
Rita herself was one of 6 children. She would do chores in the morning. She was a hard worker.
But all of her free time is focused on horses.
Rita! I just got him. Do you like him?
He's beautiful.
Horses were a part of her life, and one of the reasons was her mother, who was a homemaker and a hard worker, showed American quarter horses. And that's where the seeds of Rita's love for these animals was planted.
You could be a champion, like the ones you see on TV.
Champion of Dixon, maybe. But it takes too much money to show a horse like that.
Showing horses locally is one thing, but showing world-class horses is for the wealthy. And the Crundwell family isn't exactly rolling in dough.
It's very expensive to maintain them, and you don't win a lot. You don't win enough to justify the amount of money that you have to spend to have them.
Can you give him a good brushing? I've got to go fix dinner.
Yeah.
Rita may dream of growing up and showing champion horses, but it remains only that, a dream. She works hard in school, skips college, and lands a job as the city comptroller's assistant, a low-level financial administrator. It's not exactly glamorous, but Rita shows a knack for numbers.
The city comptroller at the time really took her under her wing.
And I do have some procedures to go over with you. So
she really groomed her and taught her all the ropes, taught her everything that she needed to know to have that job.
thank you so much, Susan. Thank you.
Rita throws herself into work. And it pays off.
You should have that on your desk.
By the late 1980s, Rita takes over as the city comptroller.
Comptroller in a small town, especially in this system, handles all of the city's finances.
She was the end-all, be-all to anything money related to Dixon.
She may be the darling of City Hall, but inside, she's dying.
I think that Rita desired for a whole lot more than she had. But I think that she dreamed of being this world-renowned horse breeder, this world-renowned equestrian and quarter horses.
But it's clear that she understood that to be a real player, you needed real money.
And her civil servant's salary isn't going to cut it. Unless she hits the lottery, she'll be chained to her desk forever. And then it dawns on Rita Crundwell. She doesn't need to win the lottery. She already hit the jackpot. She's got complete control of the city's money, and she wants a piece of the pie.
I don't think Rita probably had any idea to what a dark, bad, really criminal place that it would take her.
She starts at the bank.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Morning, David. How are you?
I understand you want to open up another account for the city today?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
All right.
She did it in a very cunning way. She made it look like it was a city account, a treasurer's account.
All right, I got the paperwork right here. Let's get this done.
Rita had the authority to open a checking account in the city's name.
And you're going to be the only signatory on this account this time?
On this one, I'd like to be on.
Rita had sole control over the account. So those bank statements and reports went to her. So how can you find a fraud if you're receiving your own information?
And with no one looking at the account but Rita, she begins filling it with cash.
The way Rita pulled this off was elegantly simple. It was basically a shell game where she would take money from other funds, deposit it into her account, and then cover it with funds from another fund.
In no time at all, Rita's secret account is overflowing with money. And for the first time, this number cruncher isn't going to be fiscally responsible. She's going to spend every penny on herself.
With the money that Rita was embezzling, she slowly built what can only be called a horse empire.
All right, let's see another one.
Rita had lavish horse buying sprees.
And Rita only buys the cream of the crop.
These were some of the best quarter horses in the world. They were award-winning horses. They were beautiful.
What do you think?
We'll take them all.
I got the best intentions and the best love I could.
Soon, she's entering the prized horses into competitions all over the country and always seems to win. And if she happens to lose, well, Rita's got a solution for that.
If you competed against Rita and you beat her, she would just buy your horse.
By the mid-90s, Rita is stealing millions.
So she had a monopoly on the industry.
And she's not just spending it on horses.
She bought multiple cars, a Corvette, a convertible Ford Thunderbird.
She had boats and she had monogram diamond jewelry. And, you know, you just think like, wow.
And when it seems like Rita's life can't get any better,
There he is.
she makes a love connection.
He's an exquisite specimen.
I only get the best.
She begins dating Jim McKillips, another well-known personality on the horse circuit.
You seem to always do it.
If I see something I like, I make it mine.
It seemed that she was on top of everything.
It was almost like she was living this movie out in front of everyone.
And lucky for Rita, City Hall bureaucrats rarely rub elbows with the stallion set.
It was this great situation because the worlds would never talk. And so if your worlds never talk, and who would question you?
No one yet. But the city of Dixon is about to realize that Rita Crundwell's numbers don't add up.
There were debts piling up. And what was really happening was the city's budget was on a house of cards. And eventually it was going to collapse.
They were deprived of opportunities to have roads paved, to have sidewalks fixed, perhaps to build parks and libraries.
They couldn't mow the grass at the cemetery that the city owned because there were no funds available to pay the workers to do it.
The fire department wanted some new equipment for safety purposes. There were places around town that were sort of crumbling and needed help.
Even the police can't get a break.
Unit 5, please respond.
Unit 5, go ahead.
We have a possible.
Unit 5 to dispatch. Please repeat.
There were actually spots in the city of Dixon where a police officer could have been responding to a police call and not have radio contact with his dispatcher because the radio system they had was not sufficient to cover the area that the officers had to cover.
Dispatch.
But when the chief of police comes to Rita,
Rita,
the answer is always the same.
how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Listen, if you're gonna ask me to look out for the well-being of this community and my officers, I'm gonna need to outfit all those cars with new radios.
How much are we talking about?
$70,000, $80,000 tops. Tops!
I'm sorry, Chief, we just don't have the money, all right?
They had no idea that with a snap of a finger, with the amount she spent on one party, she could have probably outfitted all the police cars with everything they needed and more.
And if one of my officers needs some backup and there's nobody there?
I don't know what to tell you, all right? I told you we're out of money.
And she would do this with a straight face. And people would believe her, and why not?
Chief, I don't know what else to say to you.
She knew the books inside and out, they didn't. And so they trusted her.
Gotta run into a meeting.
All right. Hey, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Dixon continues to struggle, and Rita Crundwell continues to thrive.
She built a huge ranch.
It was massive.
She had 400 show horses, which is simply unheard of.
When you walked into the trophy room, it was breathtaking, it was overwhelming.
Every trophy that she had ever won, every ribbon that she had ever won, all on display.
By 2011, Rita is spending less and less time at the office. But she isn't too concerned when people start asking questions.
Yes, hi, Mayor. It's Rita calling. How are you?
She took a considerable amount of vacation time.
I have been meaning to speak to you. I'm going to need to take another 2 weeks off.
It looked as if she was being completely above board and honest because she would dock her own pay and cut her salary.
Yeah, it's going to be an unpaid leave again.
The mayor thought, wow, this seems a little bit like a win-win.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Things worked. That allowed her to spend, over a month at a time out on the show circuit.
It seems like the small-town farmer's daughter turned equestrian sensation can't lose. But like all winning streaks, Rita's is about to come to an end.
Here are the statements you requested.
Thanks.
While Rita's off at another horse show, the mayor has his assistant, Kathy Swanson, fill in for her. And Kathy takes the assignment very seriously.
Kathy made a request to the banks to have them send the various city statements over. The bank held a number of city accounts, including Rita's secret account, which looked like any other account. Kathy goes through all the statements. Everything looks in order until she gets to that one account.
She noticed that it didn't appear to be a city account.
She knew there's something wrong with this. There's something fishy. There's a lot of withdrawals and a lot of deposits made in Rita Crundwell's name.
Kathy immediately contacts the mayor.
Mayor Burke, it's Kathy. I've been handling the city accounts while Miss Crundwell's been on leave. And I found something rather odd.
She said, Mayor Burke, here's this information about this bank account. I've called the bank and I've gotten all of these other statements. I've never seen this bank account. We have a problem.
The mayor looked at it, and as inconceivable as it would be that Rita would be doing something fishy, it was clear enough that he called the FBI and said, I think I have a problem here.
Federal investigators begin sifting through Rita's bank statements and uncover her devious plot.
And what they find just stuns them. She's been stealing these millions of dollars over the years.
Rita has no idea the FBI is onto her.
They go to the mayor and say, listen, we're gonna let her keep operating for a few months. Act as normal as you always do. Smile at Rita, say hi, good morning. And meanwhile, bring us the statements, bring us everything she gives you, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Five months later, agents have enough to take Rita down.
And they had decided the best way to do this would be to confront her in the office with the mayor present.
I'm gonna bring her in. Rita.
So the mayor, as he always does, punched the intercom button on his phone and said, Rita, could you come in for a minute?
What is this about?
Let's go ahead and have a seat for me.
He was curious, as anyone would be, to see how she would react when the gig is finally up.
Miss Crundwell, we have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Over the next couple of hours, agents grill Rita about what they uncovered, and she doesn't deny it.
It was as if she knew she had been caught, and she started to unfold the details of this massive embezzlement.
When I was younger, I often wondered where I'd be right now.
In the end, agents discover that Rita Crundwell is the mastermind behind the largest municipal fraud case in U.S. history. Over a 20-year period, Rita Crundwell embezzled an unthinkable $53 million.
People all over the world know Dixon, Illinois now. And they don't know it for Ronald Reagan. They know it because of Rita Crundwell.
Rita pleads guilty to wire fraud and money laundering. And in February 2013, She's sentenced to 19 years in prison.
She spent more than 21 years building this equine empire. She will spend the next 20 years, or the next nearly 20 years, being identified as a federal prisoner.